Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today we have our platinum sponsor, Belkasoft, and we're very fortunate to have them as our platinum sponsor. And they're going to talk to you today. Specifically, Brad Robin will introduce himself and tell you what he likes to talk to you about. All right. So, Brad, I'm going to hand this off to you. And thank you again for doing the presentation.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Basically, my name is Brad Robin. I'm from Louisiana, so it's kind of, if y'all see an accent, that's why. I have been in law enforcement since 1999. A supervisor on patrol. I did forensics from 2009 onward. Testified in state and federal court on forensics. That's kind of my specialty, is the mobile and cloud forensics portion. Some of the things that learned throughout, we'll talk about in this webinar. But basically, I got thrown into forensics by accident. I will be the first to say. We were investigating a homicide case, and we were looking for where the victim may be. We knew he had his phone on him, and but didn't know exactly where his location was. And this was back in 2008, 2009, when your cell towers and everything was just starting to pop up as something. We were able to triangulate the victim's location. And after doing everything, we were actually able to find him directly within that triangulation. So after that, it kind of spurred my interest in cell phone technology, and then I moved into the forensics, where we started a full-time unit. So I've been with Belkasoft, just to let you know, since summer. I'm still full-time law enforcement also. So kind of doing both roles. I love forensics and love to, I know every day working how much it's important to the law enforcement and corporate world. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to start with the presentation. A lot of it's going to be an overview of the product and exactly what Belkasoft Evidence Center can do and how we came about as a company. So okay, so what is Belkasoft? Belkasoft was started actually in 2007. We do have offices in the United States and Europe, and we are a company that's totally devoted to digital forensics. We don't have any other tools out there, which is what we do. We are international as far as 130 other countries. We're just starting to kind of get into the United States market. And some of the customers, as you can see, most of your three-letter agencies out there, and a lot of your corporate world, including Apple. So what is Belkasoft Evidence Center? For all of y'all who may not know, it is an all-in-one digital forensic software. We cover the 5 major digital forensics branches: mobile forensics, computer forensics, memory forensics, remote forensics, cloud forensics, and we just started with incident investigations. I will tell you, my heart and soul is within the mobile forensics and the cloud forensics portion. What are current challenges in digital forensics? We all know we have many, many, many challenges when it comes to encryption, passcode locks, everything from there. It is a very changing architecture, I'm going to say. Things change rapidly. I call it the cat and mouse game, where a forensic company will do something to try to break decrypt something, or get into a locked phone or something, and then next thing you know, the manufacturers of the product is doing something to change that for us. So it's a changing role, I call. So what we do is we acquire devices, or we can acquire from the cloud. As in anything, there is a much larger amount of data than when I started in 2009, when a phone you could actually do on a gigabit thumb drive. Sometimes you could look at everything within 20-30 minutes. Now it's much larger, and as one case we actually showed, it was truckloads worth of data that you're having to go through. Well, it's very difficult and pretty much impossible for one investigator to look through all of that data and not miss anything. So you're going to have things, search terms, stuff like that you will be using. So some of the challenges in detail, like we just talked about, was some of the encryption ports, the Apple security. I ran into that just yesterday or 2 days ago on a case where no one knew the passcode for the device, and the person was deceased. It is something that we go through every day, and it is difficult. So I did some chip-offs back in the day. However, now, due to encryption on the actual chips, it's pretty much non-existent unless you're looking at an older phone. Computers obviously have BitLocker, and your Apple devices also have encryption. Within the cloud, as we all know, they change the protocol all the time. Most of the time, you're going to need a username, password, something of that nature to get into it. And then sometimes you even need a second device to accept it. And then remote acquisition, a lot of times the biggest issue is going through firewalls, stuff like that. So some of the more stuff that we talked about is just the amount of data that's out there. We're looking at some phones, 256 gigs on up. When you really look at the amount of data that is on these phones, it is astronomical. To say that you can go through every little 1 and 0 on that phone, it's impossible. And there's so many different apps out there and everything that it's very difficult for the forensic investigator to do. So that's what we try to do, is make your life a little bit easier. So how can we help you? We're going to show you how we do acquire device data, also cloud data, and go from there. So for Belkasoff Evidence Center, we have several different methods we can use. One is that computers, we can acquire drive on the computer. On phones, we only do smart devices. So your Androids, iOS, to do some Windows phones. And you can also take dumps from other tools that you may use. And look, I will tell you right now that I'm a big proponent of the toolbox method, where you're using more than one tool on devices. I've been known to use 5 different tools before on one device, just to make sure that I'm getting everything and verifying all the information. So as you can see, this is what you will see whenever you go into acquire the device. You have the option of the drive, mobile device, or the cloud. It's pretty self-explanatory here. If you want the drive, basically you're going to do RAW or EO1 data. For your mobile, you're going to pick between your Android or Apple. And for this, for Android, we have different methods that we can use. We can use ADB backup, an agent backup, the DDD backup, or an Odin RAM image. Basically, as you can see, the ADB backup is basically built into your Android operating system. The agent backup is more of within the software, and a DDD backup is only for your rooted phone. So, and Odin RAM is only available on the Samsung devices that support it. I'm always under the philosophy that I will try every method I can, and then if needed, I will go ahead and root the phone. 99.9% of the time, what my philosophy is, do it all, get every bit of data you can get, verify it, and then root the phone. Just for the fact that, you know, if something does happen during the rooting process, everything is already documented. You already have all of your information that you need. Okay, so when it comes to Apple devices, we have 2 different methods. We have the iTunes backup or a full logical backup. For a full logical backup, it does have to be jailbroken. I know there is a jailbreak right now for the newest version out. It's something that we have not seen in a while, being able to jailbreak the phone. And this basically explains the same thing. There are things that you will get more if the phone is jailbroken. A lot of things that are encrypted, the health data, everything like that, you do need to actually jailbreak the device. So just be aware of that. Same thing that I say, if you are going to jailbreak the device, make sure that you go in and get everything you can prior to jailbreaking it. Don't go for jailbreak right away, because if something does happen during the process, you lose all the evidence, and it's just, you can be losing stuff that you already had. Okay, acquiring the cloud. Obviously, for the law enforcement world, there is a gray area within this, just due to the fact that you're not accessing information that is sitting on the device right in front of you. You're actually accessing information that can be anywhere in the world. So basically, each jurisdiction I know has different theories on this. Some where they say yes, they can, and then others say they have a lot of different problems. So just get with your local courts to determine what they want. Some of them have gone in and said, yes, we'll give it to you, but it's very limited. Also, Belksoft Evidence Center allows you to get information from iCloud, Google Suite, which is the Google Drive, Google Keep, plus Gmail, Timeline, Instagram, WhatsApp, and we're adding more as new features come out. One thing I will tell you, like I said, I love the cloud. I used just recently on incidents where in iCloud, Find My iPhone, used it on Belkasoft Evidence Center to locate where the device was in a forensically sound manner. Also, I've done it Google Timeline. If you're not familiar with Google Timeline, look into it. It basically shows locations of where the phone was during different times, as long as location services are active on it. It is a great feature. What I'd like to do is get it from here and also get on the actual device and look at the actual device and see sometimes what the Google Timeline will show. It's a very accurate thing. I use it a lot of times. Just personally, I will use it because it'll tell me, if I left my house at 7:02 a.m. and I got somewhere at 9 o'clock, and it'll show you that information. Okay, some of the issues that there are with obtaining information from the cloud. Most of the time, you will have a consent screen that comes up, especially with your Google Cloud. So you do need to be aware of this. If you have a secondary device or some type of browser or something that you can authenticate, this is what you can do here. You do need the actual login and password for these different things. Personally, what I've had to do before is we had a case where we had all the information, the login information, everything, and the person had an iPad also. So we were able to log into everything, and when the consent screen came up on the iPad, we were able to just press OK, and we would get able to get everything from there. So just be aware of that. If the device is on, the person will know what's going on. So it's just one of those things to be aware of. When we start talking about the different email accounts, you can see all this here. I've gone through before. Recently, I did mine, which I had a Gmail account. I had 35,000 emails that were brought down from my Gmail account. And one of the things that was very interesting in this is it was able to show me in an easy to read format that, hey, yes, you have the 35,000 emails, but within those emails, you have 250,000 pictures. So then I was able to go in and say, okay, well, I want all the pictures with a face in it. And I was able to go down further from there. So it is something that is very, very nice, robust, and I believe it's something that's very, very user-friendly also. So we also do some remote acquisitions. A remote acquisition, basically, you can use this to be deployed on a remote computer. So if I'm at a location and I want, let's just say San Francisco, they have a computer in San Francisco that I need to get into and do an exam with. As long as the person is there in San Francisco, what we can do is we can go in and deploy an agent. So basically, This is the remote acquisition. You will deploy an agent, so it'll give you an agent that you download, you send an email, that person will install it on that computer, and it'll have instructions of exactly how to do it. Basically, they open up the application, and it'll start running on that computer. So this could be for a Windows computer. Also, you can do a mobile device as long as it's attached to that computer. So an Android, and we're being told that we can do Apple either now or upcoming. It is something that I'm actually process of testing on that. So deploy, and then you acquire. So it's going to come through and say, hey, look, here's the computer with the IP address on it, and you'll go ahead and acquire. Due to the fact that this is using bandwidth and everything, we do give you the option to go ahead and schedule when you want to do this. So if you want to do this at 2 o'clock in the morning when there's not as much bandwidth being used at a location, this is the option for that. Okay, so whenever we go in and figure out which files have systems can be used, everything like that, an option here is, as you can see, Windows phones, Android, Apple, BlackBerry, which I kind of don't see that anymore. But it also supports FAT32, exFAT, everything like that. Xways, Atola, which is we do have a partner with on an extraction tool for that too. So these are the file systems that can be brought in to Belksoft Evidence Center. Pretty cool thing is that the virtual machine is added to your case automatically. Currently supported right now is VMware, Virtual PC, VirtualBox, and Zen Server. And I believe there's going to be more to come. I know that there's others out there that people use daily. So one of the big things right now is GrayKey for iOS. For GrayKey, we do support it, and we are working on some support issues that we do have on it, but we do support it. Basically, one of the things, if you do get a GrayKey dump, it's going to be zipped. Basically, what you need to do is take it and unzip it, so that way you do the folder. It's just also Elcomsoft dumps, full iOS backup, jailbroken devices. We can take from UFED, Oxygen, a chip off if you still have one, iTunes backup, stuff like that. So, like I said, I'm a big fan of the toolbox approach. There are times when, another software may actually acquire something better. If that is the case, take that acquisition and put it into Belksoft Evidence Center. We give you that option. So when you're searching communications, documents, and media, as we all know, there are tons and tons and tons of information out there. You have different mailboxes. You have all the different chat profiles, your browser, a child abuse media. Belksoft does have a function where you can go in and look for different, you can look for a skin tone, you can look for pornography, things like that within the images. So you don't have to sit there and look through 50,000 images. It'll do it for you. So two most popular communication software, deleted histories, Counting CCleaner, and similar software. These are all obstacles that we face every day. And as we all know, it does not mean that if it's deleted, it's actually deleted. We can go in and obtain deleted information. And it'll show you on Belkasoft that if it was deleted or not. So Belkasoft does support approximately 1,000 types of different artifacts. So it can go in, it'll analyze it for you. It also can carve and recover deleted hidden artifacts like we talked about. Just these are some of the different things that it will do. So as you can see, the Office documents, emails, mobile apps, browsing history. I actually have, let's see, show you, let's see, second. So this is what you're going to be looking at. And as you can see, for just the browsers, everything on the right, just for your Android, iOS, Mac, Windows, a lot of your chats. As you can see, and some of these are very, very, very dangerous apps, we like to call it. As you've seen recently that they put out the 15 most dangerous apps. Those are things that we're working on. We know there are many different apps out there, and we are working on getting as many as we can, and as many popular ones that we see that the forensic community needs. So like I said, these are just some of the many different options out there that it will analyze for you without even having to mess with. All you have to do is check it. Okay, so some of the organizational challenges. We all know if you're in forensics, if you've been in there long enough, the amount of data is huge. The amount of cases that we're getting is, has grown from, every once in a while to, like I've told someone before, I said pretty much every case that you work, it can have something to do with some type of digital evidence. I mean, anything from, it may be the location tracking, it may be, a text message that was sent, anything. So when you take all of that together, which there's an abundance of information out there and abundance of cases that you can use with digital evidence. One of the big things that's a great aspect is this cross-case analysis, basically where you can, search, if I'm looking for a search term, and I can search it within multiple different cases. It's the evidence reader. Recently, I had to give a copy of evidence reader to another investigator and say, hey, look, go in and look through this and see what you can find on it. So it's something that's available for free through our system. So, and remote forensics for remote examinations, and we also offer some training. We have different training BEC Essentials, Advanced, Certified BEC. We have Partner who also does some training. So everything's there available to you to get the most out of Belkosoff Evidence Center. Here is the big thing for me. Try it. You know, sit there. If you have any interest at all in Belkosoff Evidence Center, try it. You know, put some cases through it. I'm a big person that, you know, I say put your own phone through it. You know what's on your phone. You know, try your own phone. See what you can get. See what you don't get. Things like that. So if you will be at the conference coming up, we will be there. Come by, talk to us. We're here to help. So we can show you kind of some tips, tricks, anything that you need. If you have any problems, whatever, we're here to help. You can get us at support@belkosoff.com, sales@belkosoff.com, or you can get me at br@belkosoff.com. All right, any questions?
All right, so our attendees, you are on mute. So if you have a question, you can either type it into the chat box, or there's also a question windows. If you're on your, see there's a raise your hand option. If you raise your hand, we're happy to unmute you so that you can ask your question out loud. We'll give people time to type up their question. Or even if you start to type a question or type I have a question, I can unmute you.
And once again, I'd like to thank Belkosoff and Brad for the presentation. We look forward to seeing you at the conference and picking your brain more about the product.
Yes, so definitely look forward to being there, and we'll have a lot more information there to share with everybody. Go a little bit more technical with it. We also have a class on the Saturday for if anybody wants to go to that. We're going to go through, and it's going to be more of a hands-on approach and be able to show exactly, you know, what Belkosoft, almost a how-to tutorial, but it will not be quite a certification type class.
Right. And for those of you still on the line, there is another presentation coming up in the near future by Belkosoft.
I have a question, Brad. What kind of certifications do you currently offer?
Okay, we do have a certification to get certified in Belkosoff Evidence Center as a user. That's through a partner of ours. And actually, we do have a class coming up. I believe within the next, October through December, something around there. It is a class that is not going to be an online class. It's actually, you know, you go to the class and work on everything.
And I see that Juan Geraldo has a question, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute you so that you can ask it out loud. Juan, you're unmuted if you want to ask your question to Brad.
Let's see. All right. Basically, I see his question is it deals with the Facebook, Instagram search warrant returns. To be quite honest with you, Juan, I am not 100% on that, but I will definitely find out because yes, that is something that more and more people are seeing. So I will find out that for you.
Do you have any other questions on the line? You can just send a quick note and we can unmute you. Brad, is there contact information in case people have questions later that we can
Yeah,
share?
just yeah, they can contact me directly at br@belkasoff.com, and
Alright.
I will get you the answers. If I don't know it, I'll get it for you. I'm actually trying to find out right now about the Facebook, Instagram.
All right. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, want to thank everyone for coming today and viewing a great presentation. I look forward to seeing you at the conference next week. And thank you again, Brad, for the presentation. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Yeah, and if
Thank
any of
you
your
all.
colleagues joined and missed it, this will be available to HTCIA members in the online training library in the next few days. Again, have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks, bye.